Alright, good morning. I got some good feedback about the video I made about Shavuos and the customs of Shavuos. It seems that instead of me coming up with my own ideas, if I just talk about, in general, just general ideas about Judaism, talking about customs and things like that, that might be something people are interested in. People can let me know about that if you think this is something interesting. So I figure I would talk about the daily devotional life of the Hasidic Jew, and that being said, it would include the daily devotional life in general of all Orthodox Jews, or Orthoprax Jews, or the ideal devotional life, and get into also the comparisons between what is, for lack of a better term, absolutely necessary from an Orthodox Jewish standpoint, and which things are extra and not necessarily absolutely necessary, of which there are many different opinions on many different aspects of many of these things, whereas other things are pretty obvious. So excuse me. So I think the way I'll frame it is just the general Orthodox approach, and then we'll color it a bit with some of the other customs of other communities, whether it's Hasidic communities, Sephardic communities, the different Ashkenazic communities, how they differ. We'll try to cover some of these things, both in discussion of daily observance and also Sabbath observance, holiday observance, and so forth, to the best of my ability with our limited time and structure. So, Orthodox Jews' day begins with devotion. Ends with devotion, as many religious traditions have, particularly to end the day with a devotion, to say prayers before you go to sleep. That's something, we see in popular culture. Both has devotions both before and after, just both when waking up and when going to sleep, as well as in the middle of the day, which is of course something that other traditions have as well. Because popular culture shows us this idea of praying before you go to sleep, as being which is a beautiful thing. So the first words almost any Orthodox Jew would say, even though it's not an obligation really, it's more or less a custom that developed later. As far as we know, it's not mentioned in the Talmud. So it's not actually absolutely necessary, but something that we teach small children from when they're young, is to begin the day with thanking God for returning the soul. We have the words Modeh I give my thanks before you, a recognition before you, Melech Chai V'Kayim, the King who lives and exists and endures forever. Shechazar to be, that you return to me, Nishmasi, my soul, Nishmasi B'Chemla, in grace, even though I don't deserve it. Rabba Munasecha, how great is your faith, meaning that you have faith in me, that I'll accomplish what I need to accomplish today, and so therefore you graciously return my soul. And the word Selah, which is a poetic word we find in Scripture, usually in the Psalms, generally understood to mean forever. That my praise to you is constant, even though the etymology of the word is not that easy to know. Really, if we follow proper grammar, a woman or a girl says Modeh ani, and a man, a boy, says Modeh ani. Just noting that. But in English would be the same. Now, it should be noted that God's name does not appear in this statement, what I call it, a prayer, the statement of thanksgiving, and I know some of the Hasidic masters pointed out that it's before we wash our hands in the morning, while it says in the, what is that, in Parshas Modeh, somewhere in Exodus, near the end, it says, that God dwells with them in the midst of their impurity. That even before we wash our hands in the morning, that we can still thank God. It's just that we thank Him without invoking His proper name, but we rather refer to Him as the King. The next devotion is a ritual washing of the hands. There are various different opinions about how this is done and why it's done. They range from the mystical to the practical. Seems that Maimonides doesn't really have this exactly like this, because he doesn't really have the mystical aspects in his teachings, in his legal teachings, even though there are different interpretations of what that means. In any event, the way that the ritual hand washing is done is we fill up a cup and we rinse the hands off. First the right hand, then the left hand, then the right hand, then the left hand, then the right hand, then the left hand. Some people do more, they want to begin and end with the right. There are different customs as far as how that's done. This is different than washing before eating bread, which is 2 or 3 times in the right hand, then 2 or 3 times in the left hand, depending on the custom. And some people after that, I remember the Tasha Rebbe, he would do 3 times in the right hand, 3 times in the left hand, and then right, left, right, left, right, left. And I think he ended on the right. I was only there once, it was a long time ago. That's what I seem to recall in Tash. That's for washing before bread. But washing in the morning, and also generally is understood washing after using the bathroom and so forth, is filling the cup, alternating right, left, right, left, right, left. Generally you say when you fill up the cup, you should be holding the cup in your right hand, you pass it to the left hand, and then pour it on the right hand. Then you pass it to the right hand, pour it on the left hand, pass it back to the left hand, pour it on the right hand, and so forth. And to make that easier, we generally have these washing cups that have 2 handles on them, which is, it seems that would be how the washing cups were in the temple. So we're harkening back a bit to ancient times, to how the priests would prepare themselves for the labor in the temple. In that case, they would wash their hands and their feet. It also recalls the mikveh as well from a mystical standpoint. Now again, there are many different interpretations of why we do this. And also the question is when how quickly does one have to wash their hands? Many Hasidic Jews will have, even though I personally, I really don't even have a place to put it. Probably when my kids are older, we'll go back to doing this, but it's not so simple. We don't really have normal beds in our house. We just have mattresses stacked up. We don't have a lot of room. Although it is proper chinuch for the children to do so, I don't always do it. I should learn how to do it. Figure out a way. Is that we leave, and different times in my life when I was younger, I did do this, hoping at some point to go back to it. Is that we leave a basin with a cup in it. The cup is already full from the night before, and we wash our hands. Some people say that it should be uncovered, so they leave the basin on top of the cup, whatever it is, and wash our hands. And then we're very careful to spill out the water into a sink or somewhere where nobody, and it should be a bathroom sink, shouldn't be a kitchen sink, it shouldn't be touching food. There's all these mystical ideas connected with the hand washing. Others say it's good enough just to go right to the sink, walk to a sink and wash the hands. And others say that you don't even have to wash your hands until after you use the bathroom. It seems like Rabbi Yosef says like that. Moshe Feinstein also says that it's enough to get up and walk anywhere inside the house. It's considered Daled Amos. I know the Biala Rabbis, they make a big deal to tell people to wash right next to the bed. It's a segula, different things. And the question is, what exactly, why are we washing our hands? Is it for cleanliness? Is it to remove spiritual impurity? Because the Talmud does tell us that sleep is 1/60th of death. So too, we have a custom when we leave the cemetery to wash our hands. The question about that with the cemetery, there's such a thing to pick up some dirt and throw it over your shoulder. And it would seem that when you leave a cemetery, a custom like that, it would seem that's because your hands got dirty. It's not because of ritual impurity, but the custom is to treat it like that. The concept of only the hands being impure and not the rest of the body being impure is a rabbinical idea. Generally, it was applicable to most cases. Only certain things that there were rabbinical laws concerning these ideas. But then again, there were different customs as far as different approaches to these questions. But in general, of course, the Hasidim take a mystical approach. Although we could question whether it's necessary or not. However, there is sufficient reason to try to wash one's hands as soon as possible, even before using the bathroom, even though there are those who disagree. And to wash with a cup. Now, if you don't have a cup to wash, it doesn't have to be one of those cups with the handles on it. What if you don't have a cup at all? There is an idea that you could turn the water on and off, and then it's also considered koach gavra. It's considered that the first water that comes out of the sink, when you turn it on, that comes from your own energy, similar to the washing cup. Now, might sound strange to most people, but in the Jewish world, going to the bathroom is actually somewhat of a religious devotion. It's cleansing the body, removing impurities from the body, which of course is that's a health concern. And so too, it's a spiritual concern. There is an idea that spirituality and physical health are connected. Physical health and spiritual health. And cleaning the body is considered to be a religious devotion, both cleaning the outside of the body and cleaning the inside of the body and cleaning the soul and so forth. Rabbi Elimelech Lezhensk says that if you hold in when you need to go to the bathroom, you can wind up damaging your brain because it can pollute your, if you leave it too long, it can pollute your bloodstream, it will go to the brain, and that can pollute the supernal brain, the spiritual concept. And it's interesting, I remember hearing things like this from, I don't know if it was a holistic doctor or something. My grandmother, Allah Shalom, once took me to some years ago how important it is to detox the body, particularly by using the restroom regularly. And so particularly in most Hasidic communities, there's a rather major concern, particularly before praying in the morning, to make sure that you clean out your body, both inside and outside, and that includes wiping properly as well and so forth. The halacha is that if you don't feel that you have to go to the bathroom, you are allowed to pray. Many Hasidim were careful to try before they prayed to actually have bowel movement, and so that's where it comes from. Many people are mistaken when it comes to a lot of these issues. Why most Hasidim, except the Breslover Hasidim, will drink coffee before prayer. I personally don't. Try to follow like the Breslover Hasidim, not to eat or drink anything before prayer if possible. Although sometimes I'll drink water, and depending on how I'm feeling, I might eat or drink before prayer. But not the Breslover said not to even drink water, but in general, I don't need to. A lot of people think that the Hasidim drink coffee before prayer because the caffeine will wake them up and make it, give them energy to pray. And the real reason is because coffee is a laxative. To the point where, colloquially speaking, the Rabbi Melech of Lezhensk says it's a good deed. The mitzvah, not meaning that's an actual commandment from the Torah, but it's a good deed to drink coffee before prayer because of its laxative effect. And essentially, also that's the reason why many Hasidim daven late. A lot of people would think, it's because the Rebbe is Lamal this man and this and that, or some people think it's because they're lazy, or some people think it's because that's more of an anti-Hasidic claim, or people say, because they have to learn Torah before, that's real, which also you can get up at 4 in the morning and learn Torah, 3 in the morning. That's what they did in the old days. We're a very weak generation today. That we don't do these things. We should remember what things were like in the old days. But one thing with Samarov, he told people they should daven on time. They should say the morning prayers at the proper time. And the reason why he did it was he had a valid halachic reason, because he had stomach issues, he had gastrointestinal issues, and that's why he had to wait to pray because of that. And that is the halacha. Particularly if you think that you're going to have to use the restroom within the next 72 minutes and won't be able to hold it in. That's the basic halacha. But other people learn it differently, and they say, no, it's actually, if at all you're able to use the restroom, you shouldn't pray until you totally cleaned out the body. And that's the issue with this, particularly with putting on tefillin. The Samarov was careful of this, really, with all prayers, including, on Shabbos and Yom Tov when not putting on tefillin, which we'll get to soon. So, before leaving the restroom, of course, you wash your hands with soap for hygienic purposes, but in addition to washing the hands with soap and water, you also rinse your hands with a cup, just like you did before, also after you use the restroom, because it's kind of to separate the materialistic part of life from the spiritual part of life, essentially, is the way I understand it. But other people have other reasons, and other people say, no, it's simply for cleanliness, and it's really not necessary after using the restroom to fill up a cup and wash your hands that way. But there are different opinions as far as how that's concerned. Now, after leaving the restroom and washing hands, it's considered ideal to wash your hands outside of the restroom with a cup, if possible. Although maybe not absolutely necessary today, but probably still is, because we have an idea that even just entering the restroom, even if you don't actually use the restroom, you have to wash your hands after leaving, or perhaps just before leaving would be enough. Again, because there is an idea that is in the Talmud that demons live in bathrooms. That's how we remove the influence of the demons, is by washing hands, because demons have an anathema to water. The mikvah is even stronger way. Now, Maimonides doesn't accept the idea of demons, but still there's different interpretations. Now, demons generally are not understood kind of like in the Christian sense of being these minions of the devil. It's not really how I would say the Jewish idea of Shadim and Mazikin and so forth are, compare them more to the Middle Eastern idea of the genies, which are figured prominently in Islamic lore, but also predate Islam as well. And as much as that these beings, which you could call some kind of extraterrestrial or extra-dimensional beings, not to say that they live on another planet, but they're not from this earth. These beings are not all evil. But there are bad guys among them, and those are the ones who are probably more likely to seek to interact with humans. And in general, we're supposed to try to avoid that if possible, but it's not always possible. We don't have to get so much into these questions about demons so much, but once we leave the bathroom and our hands are washed, we recite, at the very least, we start our devotions again with the blessing to thank God for the mitzvah of washing the hands, which is the same one we say before we wash our hands for eating bread, for eating a meal, and then also we have a blessing to thank God that everything went well going to the bathroom, which would be understood, that if you can't go to the bathroom, it could kill you, so you have to be thankful for that. And those blessings could be said at other times of the day. Again, we have to wash our hands before saying any kind of blessings. This whole question about this with the hand washing, why we say it afterwards, is because you weren't able to say it before that and so forth. But there are many different opinions as far as that's concerned. But the general custom is like that. Recite the blessing after one. You wash your hands, you go to the bathroom, you wash your hands again, and outside the bathroom, ideally you should wash your hands again outside the bathroom if possible, and then you say the blessing for washing the hands and the blessing for using the bathroom, and thank God that everything came out okay. Then there's a blessing that we only recite once a day, since it does not begin with Baruch Atah Hashem, with blessed are you, Lord. We tend to have it say it after another blessing. And it doesn't matter whether it's the blessing, washing hands, blessing for going to the bathroom, or the blessings in the Torah we were about to discuss. However, since we learned a little bit of Torah after the blessing of the Torah, there are some who say that the best time to say it is after the blessing for using the bathroom. Others say traditional way probably is after the blessing. But Hasidim here generally follow what's probably the more halachic way rather than the more traditional way, is what I would say, is to say it after the blessing on using the restroom. The Sephardic Jews have a whole different ways and times when they say blessings, which also probably in certain ways might be more halachic, depending on different concerns. Blessing, so the blessing of washing hands, the blessing start off with the same formula, blessed art thou, O Lord our God, the King of the universe, and then many blessings continue, especially to thank God for a commandment, for a mitzvah, He sanctified us with His commandments and commanded us, and then all Netilas concerning washing the hands. The next blessing for using the bathroom, which is recite anytime we use the bathroom. Again, this blessing appears in the Talmud. Yatzar is a adds, which is also by the Hasidim, bless the Baruch Atah Hashem, so that blessing is as follows: Blessed art thou, O Lord our God, the King of the universe, who has formed the man with wisdom. Whether there's different interpretations, whether there's wisdom within the man or there's wisdom in the way God formed the human body, they're both true. And either way, God is the one who gave it to us. And create within him orifices and cavities. Orifices are holes. Cavities are, orifices are holes that are open to the elements, and cavities are hollow places within inside the body. They're not directly open to the elements, although through the orifices they are. Meaning God created all of these orifices and cavities within the body, and it's revealed and known before thy glorious throne. That usually things rhyme more in Hebrew. Here it rhymes more in English. That if one of these were ruptured or one of these were blocked, if one of them were opened or one of them were closed, literally, be impossible to exist, to stand before you. Meaning our body is a receptacle for the soul, and we need to keep our body healthy and well so we can serve God. Because we have an obligation to serve God using this body. Our soul cannot serve God without this body. We're commanded in this way. And so therefore, we thank God for the body, and we thank God for that the body is working, in good working order. And so if something was clogged up or something was broken, it would kill us. So we have to be thankful for that. And because otherwise we wouldn't be able to stand before God. And the Hasidim had and the Sephardim had a filu shachas, and we couldn't even stand for a little bit of time, for 1 hour, for 1 minute, before God, without the miracles of biology of the human body, the circulatory system, the respiratory system, and the excretory system, what's it called? All these different functions of biology of the human body, they are all necessary for our service of God. The next blessing is Elokai, Neshamah, Nesata, Taharahi. Some people leave out that word he. At the Baras, at the start of Hakmi, to Neshamah, Kirby, at the Rosa, little many, Lachsirbi, Las Lavoi, calls Manch Neshamah, Kirby, Moid Anam, Panacha, Shemakai, Kusai, Boin Klamas, and then to Neshamah, Spurcha, to Hashem, Machsish, Neshamah, Levgar, Mesim. My God, since this doesn't begin with Baruch to Hashem, it should be said right after another blessing that does begin with Baruch to Hashem. Oh, I left out the end of the Asher Yatzars. Baruch to Hashem, or if Chol Basar Maflilas Sos. Blessed art thou, O Lord, who heals all flesh and does wonders. Wonders of keeping the body and the soul together, the wonders of healing the flesh. Different interpretations of exactly what that means. The Talmud says a havamina that should be rofei cholim. It should be that God heals the sick, and then the rabbi says, but not everybody's sick. You don't want to say everybody's sick, and so we say that God heals all flesh and does wonders. The next part we say is Elokai Neshamah. We just said in Hebrew. This is my God, the soul that you blew into me, like how it says in Genesis that God blew the soul into Adam, his nostrils. Seems from Genesis. The soul that you blew into me is pure. You created it, you formed it, you placed it within me, you guard it within me, make sure that I stay alive. And you're going to take it from me at some point in the future, and you're going to return it to me also at some point in the future, meaning by the resurrection. And all the time that my soul is within me, I thank you, Lord, my God, and God of my ancestors, the Lord of all creation, of all works, of everything you made, the Master of all souls. That's a blessed art thou, O Lord, and Neshamah Levgar Mesim, that you return souls to dead corpses, meaning that while we were asleep, it was almost like we were dead, and we got our soul back every morning. We're going to talk about one more blessing now. And these are things that all Orthodox Jews are supposed to say, as well as, it's in the liturgy of the Reform and the Conservative as well. I don't think we really have time right now to talk about the next bracha, which is Birkas HaTorah. It's a whole... Now, all these things that I took 35 minutes to talk about, they all happened in a few minutes. It's not that long, but just explaining a little bit what it's all about. And I haven't really even scratched the surface of many of these things. So we can come to appreciate the depth of Judaism and the beauty of it. A lot of people have been impressed with this idea of thanking God for going to the bathroom, because even though little kids might giggle when they hear about it, but the fact of the matter is, it's something we don't think about, and it's something that's very, very important to think about, to be mindful of what we go through in life, to be mindful of biology, of how amazing our body is, what an amazing creation it is, and how intelligently designed it is, and how people ask, so why do things go wrong if there's intelligent design? And the answer is to wake us up, to remind us of how important it is. That's something I remember I brought up before. Neil deGrasse Tyson, he sometimes has these snarky comments about certain religious ideas. One of them was intelligent design, and he said, "Oh, it's not intelligent design; it's stupid design." And the answer is no. It is intelligent. God is a lot smarter than us. Doesn't mean we can't strive. The thing that Tyson always says is that religion causes people to give up trying. That they just feel like, all right, God did it, or whatever, and then they're not going to try to understand it. And I know Dr. Tyson has a lot of respect for the Jewish people, even if not necessarily for the Jewish religion. But he noted how, the Jews, are very high in the people who won Nobel Prizes and so forth, being such a small group. And in his mind, it might be because they're not so religious, and the fact is, most of these Nobel Prize winners were not so religious, but we had some. Robert Aumann is a great example. Shmuel Aumann is a pious Jew, and there are many scientists who are religious Jews, Orthodox Jews. What's the guy's name from MIT? Gerald Schroeder, Orthodox Jew. He wears a yarmulke. Of course, Robert Aumann even has a big white beard and a big yarmulke. Not that it matters. Gerald Schroeder is a Goyin without the beard and with a little yarmulke. He's still kosher out. I'm not going to get into comparisons that Dr. Tyson makes between Jews and other religions. But the fact of the matter is, Judaism is a religion that encourages inquiry, encourages questioning to a certain point. Not to say that we encourage heresy, but we encourage questions. asking the right questions. It's not that we become heretics because we ask questions. It's the opposite. We understand our own faith in a deeper way because the questions we ask and because the investigations that we make. And so, to be knowledgeable in science and so forth is a valuable thing because it brings us closer to God. By understanding God and by understanding God's work, by understanding nature and coming to appreciate that, it can be to a certain extent a certain devotion to God. However, it's not a replacement for Torah, for the devotion of Torah study. Because if you have only a devotion to science and not a devotion to divine revelation, you're not even having half the picture. You're not even having order of the picture. You're losing out so much. And so the main devotion of the pious Jew has to be religion and religious study. And as our sages say, science and so forth are karpois l'chachma. These are like dessert. These are like, the things that the secular world values are so minuscule and insignificant compared to the wisdom of our Torah, that it's child's play in comparison. It's baby stuff. And that's really the answer to all of these, this hashtag, mustard does not speak for me, is that, of course we're going to learn science and history and reading and writing, arithmetic. But these things are child's play compared to Talmud, compared to Elokai, compared to our traditional texts, which contain all of these aspects as well. And so, it's not to say, now, heretical interpretations we do try to but we can also, there's also an idea of Damash Toshav Labikoris. You should know what to answer the heretic. You should have answers, including the heretic inside yourself. You should find answers, what to answer. So the Kotzker learned it. And we should be aware that there are answers. We might not always like the answers, but there are answers to most of our questions in theology in the Jewish world. They might not be perfect answers, and certain questions, the answer is that we don't really know, but we can still try to answer them. All these questions, theodicity, I don't know how it's pronounced. I've only seen it written. I've never heard it pronounced that I can remember. Theodicy. I'm not going to get what that is right now. Theosity. In any event, we can still have our devotions and so forth, and be good, pious Jews. With science, history, and all these things are not a threat to our faith. They only can increase our faith. They can only improve our faith. So thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe, comment, and all the best. All right, take care.